In a very different mood from everything he's done before, French director François Ozon has made a very tempered account of the impact of sexual abuse by Catholic clergy in By the Grace of God. 40-something Alexandre Melville Poupard is horrified when he learns that a priest who abused him as a child is now allowed to teach catechism to pre-teens. He approaches the local cardinal, Barberini, François Matouret, wanting some action to be taken. None is. The statute of limitations in France precludes him from personally charging the priest, the now ageing Bernard Prenat, Bernard Verlet.
Vous vous souvenez de ce que vous m'avez fait, enfant?
Alexandre is not only concerned for the kids Prenat is teaching, he's concerned for the future of the church. He's a devout Catholic, and he's frustrated by the muted response. But other networks come together to form a coterie of former victims of the priest. François Denis Ménochet, Gilles Eric Caravaca, and Emmanuel Swan Ollard. Their efforts will build a brotherhood of the brave, a really touching one. Ozon is usually a filmmaker that's out there. He's not into straight narrative films of a conservative nature, but with this, you feel he felt the issue was so important that he needed to deal with it in a very non-emotional way. The narrative is a straight line, the direction's clean, the performances are powerful. Because this is a case that is partly ongoing in France. It was a provocative act by the filmmaker to take on this case of child abuse in Lyon from many years ago. It's based on real events. And the aim of the film is really to hold responsible those in the Catholic Church who were aware of what was happening and chose to ignore it. It's interesting that both the perpetrator and the church tried to prevent the film screening in France earlier this year. The film's done so calmly, so rationally, that while you know what he's getting at and are outraged at what is being presented, it's done so austerely that you might have wished for greater drama. Obviously, it was a film close to Ozon's heart and he wanted to tread carefully. And in a way you admire that, but at over 2 hours, you wish he had injected the story with slightly more dynamism.
Yes, it is a very austere film, isn't it? But it's also very elegant. He does very interestingly give us the sort of biographies of the three major people involved quite separately before they kind of interact. And the second character is a big burly chap, and he brings an enormous amount of energy to, he wants action and he wants things done now. And, at least that lifts the tempo of the film.
It takes him a while to get going.
But once he gets going, he really does sort of belt it out. But it's so affecting, this film, isn't it? It's emotionally quite wrenching.
And it's interesting that the priest knew he was a sick person and went to the church and said to them, I'm sick. This is what I'm doing. Help me. Yes. And they didn't and took no notice and sent him back out there. And I think that's really why the film's aiming at Barberini without a doubt, I think.
Yes. Is it Barberini who makes the comment, but there by the grace of God, or by the grace of God?
Yeah.
Because it looks like there'll be no action at a certain point. And he says, in a slip of the tongue, by the grace of God, nothing else is going to caught out by the press.
Yes.
That's a very good sequence, that one, where you just see the sheer duplicity of the machine of the church in action at that point. It's a ferocious bit of filmmaking in some ways and very, very brave.
Yeah. I'm giving it 4 stars.
I'm giving it 4 as well.
And we're agreeing again.
I know, Margaret.
Il faut être courageux pour parler et affronter le regard des autres.
Et si je le fais, il y a marqué quoi sur ma gueule? Pourquoi tu fais tout ça, papa?
Pour que ce que j'ai subi se reproduise plus.